welcome back to Soccer Cards United for the season 2023-2024 review here on the greatest soccer card podcast in the world. My name is Jason. That's Enzo. Hi, Enzo.
Hello, Jason.
Just to give people a peek behind the curtain of what's happening in studio, for the next 3 episodes of Soccer Cards United, or well, I guess, I've already messed up the timeline. But for the next 3 episodes of Soccer Cards United, we're going to be wearing the same clothes in the video, and the lighting is going to be more or less the same.
Yeah. And that's not because we don't bathe and we don't change our clothes.
Yes, or because we have a regular recording schedule. It's because we're recording 3 podcasts in one day.
Wait. There's sometimes, Jason, we can't get one out in a week.
Yes.
And now it's 3 in a day.
It's all changed here at Soccer Cards United HQ. We've become prolific. And so we're recording out of order. We're starting off now, which people are hearing on Monday.
I might take my hat off in the second pod.
Okay, but I can put a hat on. We can.
There's a few bits you can cut out telling people what really happened.
Yes,
that's right.
So they're hearing this on Monday. This is your season review of the 23-24. On Thursday, they will have something to look forward to, which is the preview of the Euros and the Copa America from us. And then last Thursday, which is today in our timeline, they will have heard a regular episode of Soccer Cards United.
Okay.
So that was probably more confusing than it was worth going into. But just to say, that's what's happening here in our present.
In our world.
Enzo, the format of the season review is going to be basically 9 or 10 different stories from around the European footballing landscape this season. Some of them are interlinked, some of them are not. Some of them will take a few minutes, some of them will be very quick. So we're just going to see what kind of tickles our fancy as we go through.
Okay, I respect that.
And I want to start with, and believe me, this is difficult for me, but I want to start with Real Madrid, who had an incredible season this year, winning La Liga by 10 points and winning their 15th Champions League by defeating Borussia Dortmund in the final at Wembley, and then going on to add Kylian Mbappe and Endrick this summer
to their arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, great year for them. Unbelievable year for them. Strong season with a squad that, as good as it was, still didn't look fully fluid.
Didn't look complete. No.
Yeah, looked like an incomplete squad. So that's what makes it all a bit more impressive and shocking. Yeah. Anytime you kind of watch them play, their front three looked a bit like, how are they gonna do this? Like, I feel like they didn't really come against someone that properly defended. That should have been Borussia Dortmund, but they actually got really excited about being able to maybe score a goal, that they didn't do what they did in the entire tournament, which was be a crazy block of 8 players.
Yeah.
Signing Mbappe is going to help with that, and Endrick will as well.
I suppose the standout story from Real Madrid, obviously apart from the Champions League and the league and all that, was Jude Bellingham this season, who had an amazing first season, scored an incredible amount of goals when he started, and then kept scoring to a lesser extent throughout the season. Looked like a leader in the team very, very quickly. We saw him speaking Spanish to the press in interviews after the Champions League final and stuff like that. Just, I think he's turning 21 in the next couple of weeks. But from a card point of view and a footballing point of view, maybe one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, his move to Real Madrid.
Yeah, he took it in his stride in every sense of the word. And we've seen a reflection of that in his rookie cards, which doesn't always happen in soccer. So, like, again, what do you have to do to get that move the needle? You have to do everything. But he did everything.
Yeah.
And the needle did move. And yeah, he obviously cemented why we called it the Jude class. Some would say we have an eye for talent, Jason. Some would say.
Maybe so. Jude Bellingham won La Liga Player of the Year. Vinny Jr. won UEFA Champions League Player of the Year. And Jude Bellingham won UEFA Champions League Young Player of the Season.
Wow. So, and they're neck and neck for the Ballon d'Or, aren't they? They're the favourites.
It looks like they're the favourites for the Ballon d'Or, yeah. And maybe this summer's international tournaments will decide 100%. What goes where.
If either of them have a profound tournament, that will definitely sway what direction that goes, because it is on a knife edge.
It's on a knife edge. And then adding adding Kylian Mbappe and to a lesser extent Endrick. Obviously, we've heard a lot about Endrick, where he's a big prospect. Kylian Mbappe, obviously, we know a lot more about. He has a lot longer history. It does seem, I don't know which journalist it was, but somebody made the observation that there are basically two levels of elite club in Europe. There's Real Madrid, and then there's everybody else. Because I saw someone else was criticizing, like Florentino Perez talked in an interview after the Champions League, being like, yeah, next season we go again, we try and add more, the 16th is on the way and all this stuff. And everyone was like, well, these lot give it a rest. Like, but I do think, because we're going to talk about Manchester City in a minute, I think it's interesting the way those two clubs approach things, or even Bayern Munich. I do think, like, with Real Madrid, it seems less about repeating things and more about doing it every time. Kind of, how do I say this? Like,
yeah, that was
it's
really
not
bad.
just like, huh?
That was a really bad attempt. You said nothing there. You said the same thing twice.
I know. What I'm trying to say is, like, I feel like it's a different level of domination. It's not necessarily about keeping a streak going. It's more about just being kind of the top club in the world all the time, forever and ever. You know,
Yeah, it's relentless.
It's relentless. Yeah.
You know, I think. I mean, you know, we've seen the recruitment that they've done, kind of the perfect thing, which most successful teams have, which is having a spree of talented young players coming through while also having veterans in the locker room that can kind of handle stuff. They seem to always sell their top talent at the right time, consistently. And by the time they're selling them, they've already replaced them with young players that have spent 2 or 3 seasons surrounded by some of the most world class players ever, which ultimately rubs off on you, increases your standard of trading, your technique, everything. So seeing like Camavinga and Tchouaméni ready to go, Valverde ready to go, as Modric, Casemiro, and Kroos leave, and obviously Jude Bellingham as well. It's like, that's how you do it. And it's like, right, we have Endrick coming in at the same time as Mbappe, because by the time Mbappe's 30, Endrick's 22, and he's just a guy now. Like, it's job done. And I think Kroos retiring, sorry to say this, Kroos retiring, I think has actually then balanced out their wage bill as well, despite adding Mbappe to the team. So it's like, it's absolute masterclass in operational, from a football point of view. And I've heard people say, hey, when is the time to rename the Bernabeu? People have said that for Florentino Perez. I've seen that on the timeline. Other people responded never. But there you go. Like, it such is the kind of run they're on. When you look at the kind of original, the beginning of Real Madrid, when they won, I think 5 in a very short period of time, or maybe in a row. Now you have absolute excellence that has happened since 2012 or 2014. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's been kind of incredible. I'm just reading here that this was the first season since 2008-2009 to not feature Karim Benzema for Real Madrid. And that's kind of an example of what you're saying. You could see Mbappe being there for a few years, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and then stepping off. And by the time he steps off, there's just kind of an assumption that somebody else will be there to fill in. And even like just their squad players like that, because Alaba was injured for a lot of the season, a couple of other injuries around the place, but like Nacho and Carvajal and, still doing it. It's just like, as obviously a fan of a rival club, it's incredibly irritating and frustrating. And I will take the opportunity to mention that they were only beaten twice this season, both by Atletico. But it's just like, it's just incredible. So I just wanted to start with them and just not kind of, I think there is a tendency to take them for granted, just because they do. And I think you can tell that kind of other level thing I was talking about is borne out by the fact how much time is spent talking about other clubs' achievements versus how much everyone is just kind of comfortable with Real Madrid winning everything. There's no like, remember when, like, I don't know, Napoli win the Scudetto, or, somebody wins the Champions League or something, and it's like, oh my God, like, let's talk about this and talk about this, talk about this. Meanwhile, Real Madrid are doing all this stuff and they're so good at it that they've made it kind of like
normal,
not even noteworthy. Normal, exactly.
Yeah, even Kroos was like, we shouldn't have even drawn that game, but we don't lose finals. So, job done.
Exactly.
That's what a way to bow out from club football. To be honest, it's mad. Like, I mean, you look at when they sold Ronaldo, when they sold Benzema. I know Benzema kind of left, and when they sold Varane, like stuff like that. Like, they just and bringing in Rudiger and stuff like that. Obviously, Militao was injured for most of the season, I think, and unbelievable player. So it's just they're flush with talent. Marcelo replaces Roberto Carlos. He's replaced by Mendy. It's constant, unbelievable level. And now they want to look. They're looking at Alphonso Davies kind of apparently and stuff like that. So it's just constant, and like players want to go there. Like it's kind of like young players are like fucking Real Madrid. Like Mbappe is giddy about it. Like, and Mbappe has had such a horrid kind of PR the last few years. As he owns PSG and he's a drama queen.
Yes.
And it looks like he's almost humbled by the white shirt, Jason. So as much as obviously it's not great to see. Like as a Milan fan, I hate seeing them keep getting 15, 16. Like stop getting Champions Leagues because we have ours and we want to try catch up to you, but it seems impossible.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was like, the gap was like 3 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, for the longest,
a few years ago, and now
because they struggled to get 10 La Decima for the longest time.
Yes,
and they get 10, and now they're on 15, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, we haven't even got to a final in a very long time. But that's the level. That's it. Play them.
Kind of bringing us into then our second thing I want to talk about, which is how do you keep up with it with a club like Real Madrid, or what other routes are there to success apart from just like Florentino Perez being a genius? And one thing we've seen is the rise of the multi-club network, most successfully, I suppose, in the City Group. And there's 2 things. One, just a little shout out to Girona for finishing 3rd in La Liga this season and having a fantastic time doing it. We saw veterans there like Daley Blind, and then their captain Alex Garcia, but young players like Savinho, and I believe the top scorer for La Liga this season was Artem Dovbyk, their Ukrainian forward. The Ukrainian midfielder Sigankov also excellent. So they finished 3rd. They're in the Champions League. They have to work that out. But their sister club or parent club or whatever way that works, Manchester City, won their is it 4 and 5 years, or is it 4 consecutive titles?
4 consecutive.
4 consecutive. Good Lord. I couldn't even believe that. So unbelievable. Won their 4 consecutive Premier League title and are now suing the Premier League over it. Coming off the back of I was going to say, coming off the back of the treble season, I do think Manchester City were slightly disappointing. They weren't at their previous level.
No.
We saw Haaland scored a rake of goals, but did seem to not score them in the big games. And I think Julian Alvarez played more minutes than anyone, which again points to the fact that maybe Pep didn't really quite know what he wanted to do with the team or that. Kevin De Bruyne finally seems to be in decline. And Phil Foden emerging, I think, obviously a super strong player, great player, but not quite at that. Kevin De Bruyne at his best, Ilkay Gundogan at his best, decisive, consistently decisive stage. So I think they'll look back at their season and say a Premier League should have been more. They should have added other trophies.
I mean, they could have done. They were very. I mean, they could have won the Champions League, and then obviously they lost to United in the L final. So they could have had a better season than they did, but they were kind of off the pace for whatever reason, and that might be a fatigue of winning all the time. Or it could have been the cloud that did hang over the club all season, which was the 115 charges, aka. And obviously, the Premier League was a tough win for them this year. Like it went down to the last day, so that's going to add a lot of fatigue. But yeah, I think ultimately Real Madriding them in the Champions League definitely deflated them a lot.
Yeah, that I think it was. You got the impression it was maybe all they could do to stay in the title race against a very impressive Arsenal team, and that they just didn't have the energy, or didn't have the squad they've had the last couple of years, or whatever it was. Because even like you're hearing players now, De Bruyne and Haaland, I've heard in the last couple of days talking about their future at the club, and it does seem like things are maybe getting a little bit like the kind of the circle is tightening around them. There's a feeling maybe among agents, among players, entourages, among staff of the club that this might not go our way, even after all the hundreds of millions or whatever spent on lawyers' fees and stuff.
Yeah, I think the minute you kind of lash out and try to sue the Premier League, things are probably not looking too good.
No, right.
There is people saying they want to see City relegated. There's people saying they want to see them liquidated. Which I feel like a lot of the people in the L hobby that might be listening to this I don't think they've lived through something like that.
No,
I don't think so. It's been a long time since like Juventus were relegated to Serie B, or I don't know if they went further than that. I think it was Serie B. Obviously Rangers, they've climbed back to the top of Scottish football there and abouts, but at one point they're a different club, if you will. Yeah, we've all seen it with Palermo. We won't get into that.
Mm-hmm.
it seems unfathomable for that to happen to Man City, but almost in a wonderful way that like if it happened, it would be fascinating.
Yeah, I also think just for the hobby listeners, like a lot of international fans, especially in America, like the idea of, first of all, the idea of how much other clubs would like to see City get, stripped of their titles or relegated or liquidated or whatever. But also just that idea of like, these are not like American sports franchises, which are like once you're in, and it's kind of a, you know, a closed door system. It's like, yeah, you can actually get sent down to the bottom of the pyramid and have to reestablish yourself and climb your way back up. Which may seem insane to some people,
It
but
would
is
be
actually
insane.
brilliant.
I think people, it was absolutely brilliant. But I think it would be insane for people to see, um, Pep Guardiola, Kevin De Bruyne, the 4-time champions, just did a treble, Haaland, all just having to either stick with the club in the lower divisions or just dip, and most
Or
likely
jump
dip.
ship. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
funny, like, who would stick with Man City? No disrespect to Man City, but like they're like when Juventus got sent to Serie B, Buffon stayed.
Mm-hmm.
I think Del Piero stayed. I think there
Del
was
Piero stayed. Yeah,
a variety, and that's more. I'm doing an injustice to everyone else that stayed, but like City are not who like maybe Phil Foden, but probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like
yeah.
people don't care about Man City that much. It's not the same. Like if Liverpool got sent to the Championship or lower, Steven Gerrard would have stuck around. Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
that kind of a.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't really have that at City, the City group. But suddenly you realize the plastic fans are plastic and the players don't really care. But
Yeah.
no, look, it's hard. I kind of stand by the fact that I think it would be kind of really, really bad for the Premier League from their own point of view to do anything other than fine City. Like that's my, I really just, I know, you were saying the Premier League is owned by the Premier League clubs, isn't it?
Yeah. So what's happened is now there's a 20 of them in it. City, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Everton are contesting these rules about basically rules about, it's called like associated entity contributions or something, basically being sponsored by yourself,
Yeah.
or being sponsored by organizations that are related to the people who own
Oh,
your organization. So that's kind of what and the other 16 clubs are saying you've used that to fiddle the books.
hmm.
And we're all living outside of our means, trying to keep up with you, and you're not even, because you keep telling us you're the most commercially successful club in the world, you're the highest revenue because you have like every brand in Abu Dhabi as a sponsor, but that's fake because you're Abu Dhabi.
That's right.
Um, I think a good old points deduction is in order.
I think. See, I just think if the points deduction is not big enough, City will just stay in the league, and it's just 1 year without winning something. Do you know?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Whereas a fine, it's like you're lining your own pockets if you just go, I'm going to find the Abu Dhabi all this money, and then it's like we
Yeah.
all get a bit of cash, and you've achieved nothing. Because like City is the best example of an entity that can compete with obviously Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and the big clubs in Europe. So from that point of view, the Premier League would, I suppose, would kind of want that because you want to be the best league in the world, so you need a team that's the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the flip side, like you don't really want to see Newcastle doing the same thing and just becoming the number one club in England because they have a lot of money.
Yeah, the
And
other
then it's
club
like,
and the other clubs don't want, like, if you're looking going, I'm Manchester United, I'm a massive brand, I can go and get like, I can have everything from a club, water bottle supplier all the way to a tire supplier and a wine sponsor and all this stuff, and I can have all these amazing commercial deals, and I still can't make as much money as Man City because they have their ill-gotten sponsorship money. And it is that thing of when it comes to a fine, I can't remember what the exact thing is, but there's something about if the punishment for a crime is a fine, then it's not a crime if you're rich enough.
that's right. It's only a
So
punishment for poor people.
it's only a punishment for poor people. So it's like you can find them, but they'd love if you find them. They'd be like, great. Throwing
Yeah,
money at
class.
stuff is
Look, is this
exactly
over
what
now?
got us into this situation.
It's like, is this finished now? Can we stop hearing about these charges?
I'm going to write you a check and I want you to shut up about this.
Yeah, and do it fast.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm just looking at the City season here. They were at the Club World Cup. Rodri won the golden ball and Kyle Walker won the silver ball of the Club World Cup. I don't know where I was during that, but I don't remember that. The Premier League Player of the Season was Phil Foden. The Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year was Phil Foden. The Premier League Manager of the Season was Pep Guardiola. And the Premier League Golden Boot scorer was Erling Haaland. And yet, it seemed like this City team was less than the sum of those parts. Who knows?
It's a weird one. Who really knows? I don't know. It was a weird story, and it's breaking as we speak. Like this just kind of launched a couple of days ago, yesterday
Yeah.
maybe. Um, it is like I've seen people on Twitter kind of quoting when I think Lance Armstrong started trying to sue like the federation or something. So
Yeah,
it's
the
almost like
Cycling Federation, yeah.
it's like an admission of guilt. If you're like, right, let's take them to court, it's almost like our lawyers will get us out of this because you
Yeah.
need to be gotten out of something. So
And you're trying to, it's that thing of like, okay, you're now attempting to change the rules so that by the time you're punished, the rule is different. And you go, see, I was never breaking the rules. The rule's not there anymore.
yeah, it's not the same.
So it's not a good look. So we'll see where Manchester City go after this. But obviously, if they do have to sell players or whatever, there's going to be an incredible pool of talent on display. Let's move on to a game that we were present for, Enzo, which was the Europa League final in Dublin.
Yep. Wonderful
Where
experience.
Atalanta won their first ever European trophy. And I have here only their second ever, I have in quotes, top flight trophy, because the only other trophy they've won outside of Serie C and Serie B trophies is the Coppa Italia in 1963. So I don't know what would you call that? Major trophy? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, that's definitely the word.
Okay. Anyway, by defeating Bayer Leverkusen in Dublin in the Europa League final with a hat-trick from Ademola Lookman. Amazing achievement.
Inflicting their first the loss of the season as well.
Yes, completely. You remember when we were at that game, I took a huge amount of notes.
Yeah, an insane amount of notes. It was crazy. I thought you lost your head for a while.
And I
said to myself, he
never
thinks he's
did
a
anything with
commentator. I believe that.
So I just got to go through them here. I'm not going to read them out. I'm just going to have a look and see if there's anything interesting. Look at this, right? This is the second I've written down here. This is the second time I've seen Charles de Ketelaere at the Aviva Stadium. He was a young whippersnapper in a Belgian B team against Ireland the first time. He's come a long way, I said. Granit Xhaka is much bigger in real life.
That's true.
Let me see.
This is a compeller. I love this.
Jeremy Frimpong has the same average position on the right as Mbappe would have on the left. Look at this. Atalanta's kit is made by Joma, and Bayer Leverkusen's kit is made by Castore. When was the last time we had a European final with no Nike or Adidas? Wow, that's one for the Boffins. I'm not providing the answer. I'm just providing the question. Yeah, then it's all just sort of.
No, I love that. That was better than I thought it was going to be, Jason.
All right, good.
I'm going to start bringing you to more games.
The referee falls over. We love it. So it was good fun.
It was a good game. Obviously, like Bayer Leverkusen just weren't at it. They couldn't quite pick themselves up to the levels.
Yes.
But Atlanta were well up for it. It was a bit of crack. The Atlanta fans were well up for it. We had a jolly good time, definitely.
At full time, I seem to have broken into as if I was writing a match report. Bear in mind, I'm just sitting on my own. Enzo and I weren't sitting together for this match, so I'm just sitting with people I don't know. And I just decided to, because I couldn't turn to the person next to me and chat like I usually would. I just decided to. So I broke into full match report mode, and I've written here, and this is embarrassing. I've written here, that's full time. There are shrieks of joy. There are tears from Atalanta's staff. There's a slight trace of disbelief on the face of Gianpiero Gasparini. The players are celebrating with their fans. The fans are celebrating with their players. Atalanta is celebrating with Atalanta. What a moment. But ironically, in defeat, it appears the Leverkusen fans have finally found their voice for the first time this evening. They are bouncing and bowing down to their squad. This incredible group of history makers who never got started tonight. Why did Xabi Alonso decide to stay another season? Because there is more to be done. There is always more to be done. So there you are.
Wow.
Wow. Powerful stuff.
That's powerful, yeah.
Yeah.
But I known you were witnessing the game in such a deep manner while we were there, right? Could have struck up a conversation with you. Could have asked someone to move seats. But it was good. Look, It was a good experience. And it is different watching football physically in the ground, especially if you're in a seat where you can see everything as well. From the kind of side angle that you'd normally see on TV. You just see a lot. You see a lot.
Yeah, the kind of I know I feel like we say this at least once a year on the podcast, but just as a kind of a yearly reminder, a yearly encouragement, for people to go and watch live football at whatever, within reason, at whatever level you have access to go and watch
Within
it at.
reason.
Within reason. You don't have to go up to the
What?
local park and watch the Sunday League, but
Okay.
I
know. We've seen a lot of football this year during our travels. Kind of
That's right.
That's right. That's all I want to say. It's
Okay.
good. It was a good improvement from last year. I think we've seen more ball this year.
Yes, and nice to take the time to see some matches in person.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Euros. Italy are in it. There's part of me that wants to try and make a trip over to Germany, maybe to catch the Spain and the Croatia doubleheader. Yeah, it takes place 4 days apart, so that could be a nice little trip. But June is getting busy.
I suppose we should just take a minute to talk about Bayer Leverkusen while they come up. They completed the Pokal and Bundesliga double. Let's see. What's the record? 49 competitive matches without a loss was the new record.
51. Yeah, no, 51.
No, 49 was the record, and then they extended it to 51.
Yeah.
So Benfica had done 48 in 63 to 65. They succeeded in netting 17 goals during stoppage time and 34 goals from the 80th minute onwards.
That was insane.
I've never seen anything like it.
I was watching games all the time. I always happened to catch it at the end, and if they were losing, I kept saying like they're going to score late, and it just kept happening. It was insanity,
complete insanity. Looking at the transfers they brought in, Alex Grimaldo, Jonas Hoffman, Granit Xhaka, Victor Boniface, Josip Sanisic from Bayern on loan, and Nathan Tella from Southampton, Borja Iglesias. They all those players at various points contributed late goals or contributed big moments. It was pretty amazing to watch this Bayer Leverkusen team.
Yeah, I mean we witnessed history. We witnessed the only game they lost this entire season, which is insane.
Yes.
Blame.
I was kind of looking forward to telling people that I had seen them when they won that part of the treble.
Yeah, I know.
But instead, like, I kind of was telling people, I was at the match last night, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, that German lot are shite, aren't they?"
Yeah, because it was that one of those things that was like this. Out of every game they played in the entire season, this was the one that had the most eyes on it, and they lost.
Yes.
Most people are like, "All right, let's see what this is all about." These record breaking people, let me tune in this time, and they just lose 3-0 to Atlanta, and they go, they were fucking shy.
They were shy. Yeah, exactly.
What goes on in Germany? Like that's what they were thinking.
Yeah.
They almost had the Bundesliga, vibes gone, but no, they're unbelievable. They obviously recruited really well. Xabi Alonso's obviously must be an amazing manager.
Yeah.
It was kind of a perfect. I don't want to compare it to Leicester, but it did look like just kind of a perfect collection of players that all went in the same direction, and it kind of shows you that when you have a group of players that actually play as a team and play in an actual system without the kind of I'm the main man syndrome.
Yeah.
Although Wirtz could have been guilty of that in the final. It just you can do a lot. You can do a lot if you're playing as a team.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. People forget that it's an 11-man
in
the world. Yeah, in the world with football Twitter and stats and expected goals and touches and assists and all that, people forget.
Yeah,
it's 11 men. Score your goal, keep a clean sheet, job done. It was a quality season, obviously, and they'd never won the Bundesliga before. I don't believe Leverkusen.
No, Leverkusen they were called.
Oh my God! So yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, it happens obviously in a season where Harry Kane was at Bayern Munich, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think Bayern Munich and Harry Kane and all. I had a look at 36 goals in the Bundesliga, the most goals of any debut season in Bundesliga history. I do think Harry Kane's move to Bayern Munich and them going trophyless that season. When you think about who Harry Kane, that's kind of also been overshadowed by the fact, if Borussia Dortmund had won the league by 2 points this season, I feel like we'd be talking more about what a disappointment that season was. But because Leverkusen seemed like you couldn't negotiate with them, they kind of blew everyone away. But Bayern finished third after Leverkusen and Stuttgart. And I do think you look at who Harry Kane is record, his goal scoring record, his captaincy of England and all that stuff. And it's it was actually a massive deal, him going to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
And it was a complete letdown.
Even though on paper he had an amazing season. History making season. But it's a weird one. It's a weird one. It's been a crazy season, Jason, across the board.
It has done. Do you remember when, moving on to our next item, do you remember when we were talking about Olympiacos winning the UEFA Youth League.
Yes. I remember vividly. How could I forget?
And we talked about it for a few minutes. I'm sure a lot of people were like, why are they talking about this? But he said maybe they can follow up with a Conference League title. And they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Or Fiorentina.
Poor old Fiorentina. I think Vincenzo Italiano has lost 4 or 5 finals in his time with Fiorentina.
2 back-to-back Conference League finals, and they lost them.
Yes. And Jose Luis Mendelebar, the Olympiacos coach, won the Europa League with Sofia last season and then won the Conference League this season. Only the second manager to win UEFA titles in back-to-back seasons. I think the other one is Rafa Benitez.
Wow. I was going to say Jose Mourinho. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, there's some managers that are better for the cup competitions and better in Europe than they are in maybe the league over the course of a season. And that could even bring it into Jose Mourinho moving. I don't want to jump too fast.
Don't jump too fast. I just want to say a couple more things about Olympiacos.
I know. Well, here I am.
I was listening to a Spanish football journalist talking about Olympiacos, and Ernesto Valverde, people know as the current Athletic Bilbao coach, former Barcelona coach, he spent some time at Olympiacos, made his name there, and apparently while he was there, he kind of professionalized the club and gave them kind of a way of playing and a way of operating that they've never lost. And since he was there, they've had basically all Spanish managers. So there's this whole thing, and he was in the he's Basque, and Mendelebar is Basque, and Valverde was there, and there were some nice images of them celebrating together on the pitch, because like even though Valverde doesn't work for the club anymore or anything like that, he kind of has this like spiritual connection. So that was nice to see. Also, people may not know, or they may know, that Olympiacos are owned by Marinakos, who also owns Nottingham Forest. So Nottingham Forest fans, future's bright. The top scorer in the Conference League this season, I just love the Conference League, that's why I'm spending so much time on it,
of course,
was 30-year-old Moroccan Ayoub El Kabi, who scored 11 goals, including the winner in the final. And he wasn't in Morocco's squad when they went to the semi-finals of the World Cup, quarterfinals.
I don't know.
In 2022.
No, they got Morocco got to the semi-finals. Sorry.
Semi-finals, yes. So he wasn't even in that squad. He's kind of just been a journeyman striker. So I love to see a journeyman striker, kind of an unsung hero, have a wonderful season in the European competition. If it's in the Conference League, my favorite of all the European competitions, all the better. I think what I'll do is, because I'm completely sold on the Conference League as an idea now, I think I'm going to book tickets for next year's Conference League final as soon as the venue is announced, because I just think it's a fantastic competition.
It's the best in the business.
I was at the Europa League final going, this is all too mainstream for me. I need to go down.
You need to go down a bit.
Layer. Yeah. Did you want to talk about Jose Mourinho going to Fenerbahce?
Yeah, I just love the little video. I don't know if you've seen it. I put it on our our YouTube. Yeah, on our story. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's. I think we kind of slightly touched on it, but people on the Twitter kept saying, "In another life, Jose Mourinho could have been a dictator."
Absolutely.
And it's brilliant. I think he made it clear he doesn't want any Roma players, which wasn't like an insult to Roma players. I think it was him trying to respect Roma as a club and say, "Hey, I'm not going to come and take Dybala. I'm not going to come and take Lukaku, whatever."
I don't think that's how the Roma fans saw it. I think they took it as an insult. If you can imagine, the Italians took it as an insult.
Believe that.
Yeah.
I thought that was more of a respecting of, don't worry, I've left Roma, I respect Roma, I'm not going to come, and even though a lot of Roma players will be so well suited to the Turkish league, I'm not going to do it.
Yes.
That's what I thought that was. But I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention to the Turkish league, Jason, but I think next year, Fenerbahce Galatasaray is going to be much watched TV.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's basically, as far as I know, the Fenerbahce hierarchy were forced to go out and do this. Because of the kind of Fenerbahce fan riots, more or less, that followed them losing the league to Galatasaray by 2 points or whatever this season. They got 99 points, kind of a Liverpool City kind of situation from a few years ago. And they had to do something to calm the fans, kind of stem the tide. So they went out, and I believe Jose is on 20 million euros for a 2-year contract.
Wow.
So that's pretty incredible. Last I heard of Fenerbahce, apart from the league. The league was so close. There was a lot of controversy over refereeing decisions. And at a certain point, they were threatening to leave the Turkish league and go and play in Greece or something. Because they were so irritated by the refereeing decision. So if you think the refereeing is bad in your league, MLS fans, Premier League fans, Serie A fans, imagine what they're like. They're like, we'll go and play in Greece.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
But do you think Fenerbahce, are they in Champions League?
They finished second, so they're definitely in some sort of qualifying scenario for the Champions League. Yeah.
I want to see Jose in Europe, in Turkey. It's just
Edin Dzeko plays up front for Fenerbahce.
Oh my god.
So there's definitely some heritage moments incoming for next season.
Oh, I cannot wait.
And I believe, didn't they announce that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has taken over Besiktas, maybe?
No, I think that got overstepped by someone else has taken it.
Oh, it's Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, is it?
Yes, that's confirmed.
Yes,
it was.
That's confirmed.
There was reports it was Ollie, and then that quickly disappeared.
Right, because that would have been brilliant. But the United fans are so quick on Twitter that they had like the fan edits done and everything before like the news had even been confirmed.
Oh, bless them.
We mentioned Vincenzo Italiano, who lost another final with Fiorentina. He was rewarded for that by getting the job at Bologna. Thiago Motta has left Bologna after qualifying for the Champions League and has gone to Juventus to take over from Max Allegri. And Vincenzo Italiano will be leading Bologna into
Europe,
into the Champions League next season. Yeah, the new look, new format Champions League. Their main man, Joshua Zirkzee, is apparently of great interest to Milan.
Yeah, he's a quality player. I think Milan, there's rumors of Allegri coming to Milan.
Really?
And
there's
take
him back at Milan?
I don't know how I feel. We need something. Pioli's gone. There's been a big managerial merry-go-round going on this summer in all leagues, I think. I believe Antonio Conte is confirmed, Jason, for Napoli.
For Napoli, yes. And I have a sneaking suspicion they do very well because they've no European football.
Yeah, if they can keep Osimhen.
Yeah, and he can't do 3 games a week, but he can do 2 games a week and win the league, no problem.
Especially with Conte. Jesus, what a manager he is. He is hardcore. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Milan are at a bit of a loose end. I don't really know. We had a great season, obviously winning the league again a few seasons back with Pioli, but we had some good Champions League runs, but ultimately second fiddle to Inter Milan, Champions League and the league then this year. And obviously we lost the semi-final to them last year in the Champions League. So we need someone that can dethrone that aging yet brilliant Inter Milan squad. So I don't know who does that. I don't know if it's Allegri. I feel like we need fresh blood, a fresh manager to shake it up, but I don't know. All
right, we'll see. Just to give a shout out, I saw some like football hipsters on Twitter after Bologna qualified for the Champions League talking about one of their, sporting directors, technical directors, somebody like that, a man by the name of Giovanni Sartori.
Okay.
And a quick run of his career. Became Chievo Verona's sporting director in 1992. Took them from Serie C to Serie A and the UEFA Cup. Then joined 11th placed Atalanta in 14-15. Secured UCL qualifications 4 times. And then joined 13th place Bologna in 22-23, that's last season, and qualified for UCL in the second season. For the first time in 59 years. First time in the European Cup for 59 years for Bologna. So this guy, Sartori, is behind the scenes.
He's a mastermind.
He's a mastermind, yeah. Love a mastermind. We'd love to get him on the podcast, see which cars he's buying.
Yeah, I do love hearing stories like that when there is someone in the background that's doing a madness. Because that's not coincidental, doing all that with all those Italian teams.
Not over that length of time.
No, not at all.
The next item is actually kind of a bit of a cheat code because I want to tell you who was the young player of the year in each of the top 5 leagues.
Okay.
Because obviously there is some sort of, this is ostensibly a soccer card podcast, so people might be prospecting or whatever. The young player this season in the Premier League was Cole Palmer, as we know.
I was going to try guess them.
Oh, I'll let you guess the rest.
Okay, but to be honest, I feel less strong. Well, let's go.
So he got Cole Palmer got 22 goals and 11 assists in the Premier League for a struggling Chelsea.
Okay.
After being thrown out of Man City or after moving from Man City anyway because he wasn't getting enough playing time. He's only 22, and we were talking about you may invest in his club cards, his national team cards, whatever you think is best. Right, do you want to tell me who was the young player this year in La Liga?
Jude Bellingham.
No, Lamine Yamal.
Oh, fuck.
Jude Bellingham was the player of the season, I believe.
But surely, I suppose he's not as young as Lamar. Lamar's so young, he almost just gets it for being so young.
Yeah, I don't know. But then who do you give the other one to? Jude is the main man.
Why can't you get both, though? Or can you not?
Maybe you can't get both.
Right, well, Lamar, I completely blanked on him, so good luck to me for the rest of these.
For the rest
But,
of them, I'll just tell you the rest of them. But he's
no,
obviously
I
like
want to
the rookie.
guess.
You want to guess?
Yeah, I think I know them.
All right. Well, 5 goals and 5 assists in 22 starts in La Liga for Lamine Yamal, plus some very good showings in other competitions as well. Obviously leading the line for the rookie class this season, along with
100%. Unbelievable. He's featuring in the Panini product. He's obviously featuring then the Tops product as well, the Euro product. So he's everywhere. He has a lot of rookies. A lot to choose from, a lot of high quality rookie cards, which, as much as people don't want millions of rookies, it is also nice to have a rookie class and a rookie player that has a select, that has a Tops Chrome, that has a national team card. Like, you want that.
Yeah.
That's
I
like
agree.
those 101s, etc., are the ones that'll break records if the player goes on to be all of what they can be.
Yeah, I mean, I think he became also this season Spain's youngest ever appearance maker and goal scorer. So this kid's got it all.
Yep.
Look forward to seeing him in seasons to come.
And the Euros in the summer, possibly.
Possibly so. Now, the Bundesliga doesn't have a Young Player of the Year award.
Really?
They just have a Player of the Year and they have a Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
But the Rookie of the Year...
Does that just mean the newest to the league, or does it mean youth?
I think it's kind of a wishy-washy definition, because the Rookie of the Year was...
my guess is Frimpong.
No, it wasn't Frimpong. It was Victor Boniface.
I'll get one of these right.
Bayer Leverkusen's top scorer in the Bundesliga. I think he got 14 goals. But if he's not a rookie in the sense of it's his first professional season, Harry Kane is a Bundesliga rookie as well. But I think it's insulting to give Harry Kane a rookie award, so you can't do that. Of course. And then the Player of the Year was 21-year-old Florian Wirtz. So
yeah,
we can. The Bundesliga is not making it easy for us here, but basically Bayer Leverkusen are deadly, is what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell me who was the Young Player of the Year in France in Ligue 1?
Was it Barcola?
It wasn't Barcola, but it was a PSG player.
This is what? Who the hell else is for PSG?
22, 23 rookie midfielder.
Xavi Simons?
No.
That's the 2020. Jesus. Oh, Warren Zaire-Emery.
Yeah, Warren Zaire-Emery.
Sorry,
yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
He kind of... Luis Enrique really, really, really likes Warren Zaire-Emery.
Yeah, as do the French.
Yeah. So...
I don't even know. I can't even guess Italy's. I give up. I was going to say Xerxes, but I...
It is Xerxes.
Come on.
Don't get disheartened.
I am disheartened. I honestly thought Frimpong, and it's still Bayer Leverkusen. I thought Barcola, it's still PSG. I thought Jude Bellingham, it was Lamar. Come on. Having a mare.
Having a mare. But listen, you got the Serie A one right, and you can't be...
That's right.
Asked any fairer than that. Xerxes scored 11 goals and got 4 assists in 32 starts for Bologna. But if anyone watched Bologna, he also did some really interesting things, link up play, that kind of thing. So yeah, I hope he kicks on now, as they say.
100%. Be interesting to see, especially if he goes to Milan.
Especially if he goes to Milan. Let me just quickly, I have some honorable mentions listed here. I'm just going to list them off, and then if there's anything you tickles your fancy or whatever, you can let me know. Honorable mentions: Arsenal giving us a good title race in the EPL. Stuttgart's incredible season, finishing second in the Bundesliga, which you would have talked about a lot more if it wasn't for Leverkusen. Yep. Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool after 9 years. Sturm Graz winning the Austrian Bundesliga, the first team that's not called RB Salzburg to do that in like 11 years. Napoli's shocking title defense. Brest qualifying for Europe for the first time. Barcelona retaining the Women's Champions League. Arsenal winning the Continental Cup when we were in the stadium. Loads and loads more. We can't talk about it all. But what a season it's been.
It's been brilliant. It's been good. It's been a good one. Like, to be honest, we've been busier than I think we've ever been, Jason. Traveling so much, losing out on a lot of football hours for sure. Like, that must be said.
Yes, for sure.
But it's been a blockbuster of a season, and I'm looking forward to the summer international tournaments. Obviously, the release schedule for soccer is happening now, so it's also going to stay busy. But I'm hoping to have decent coverage of the Euros and, of course, Copa America as well. It should be a fun summer.
Yes. Next season, we're going to have a new Champions League format. We're going to have, Manchester City,
Asterisks.
asterisks all over the place. We're going to have all sorts of stuff. Managerial merry-go-round, as you say, as well. A lot of clubs looking for strikers. A lot of clubs looking for managers. We do it all again in August.
Kylian Mbappe at Real Madrid. We get to see it. We get to see it. Oh, with Jude and everyone. It's going to be carnage. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still so adamant he should be a right-sided winger for Real Madrid and leave Vinny on the left and get a striker through the middle, and don't mind Rodrigo sub him on every now and then for the vibes.
We got to get you on Don Carlo's.
I know. I need to give him the little eyebrow, but he'll say no. That's not how the vibes work, boys.
Yeah,
it's like you can do that and it'll be great, but we won't win the Champions League. We'll win the Champions League if we just vibe.
That's it.
He's right.
He's right. Friendship.
That's right.
I like to think that we kind of have a Don Carlo attitude to this podcast. There are kind of more kind of better defined podcasts out there. There are like Pep Guardiola style podcasters, overthinking it and all that stuff. But we're kind of just in the Don Carlo school.
That's right. Cool as a cucumber, and we get the job done.
That's it.
Wow.
Okay. Right. Brilliant. So we'll see everyone on Thursday.
That's right.
For our international tournaments preview. That is, for us now, that's one of 3 podcasts to record.
Yeah, I got delivered this during, I don't know if you heard the door open, I got delivered a little lunch.
A bit of lunch, very good.
So I don't know what it is.
We're only an hour and a half behind schedule.
Don Carlo would never. Oh my God. Oh, so our season review didn't include cards, which is a big, like this was it's almost like we could do what were the big card things, but we're not doing it on this specific show. Maybe we'll need a bit more.
We're going to have to do that in like September when all the products have come out.
That's true.
So
okay.
Okay.
I'll talk to you for our podcast too soon enough.
Okay. Bye, everyone.